What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Celtics Talk podcast here on the NBC Sports Boston podcast network. Got a loaded show for you today. Like I thought we used all our bullets last week. No, we got more great guests coming in and just delivering knowledge and hot takes and all that. This time it's Tracy McGrady starting a one-on-one basketball league. We're gonna have some fun with that. But got into his relationship with Jaylen Brown, why he thinks this series could be so pivotal to whatever comes next for Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And you might even have a prediction on this series. So that's coming up. But first, I want to talk about Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. And I got to tell you, the Twitter box is a mess today because there's a lot of people who think Marcus Smart didn't deserve that award. And I'm a little bit taken aback by it. In fact, there's a lot of my fellow number nerds are upset about this. Here's the thing that I think gets lost a little bit in this is that Marcus doesn't have the sort of statistical case that a lot of the big men have, in part because it's easy to say this guy blocks 3 shots per game. His defensive rating is out of control. Like he's got 57% within 3 feet of the rim. There's all these metrics that can really hone in. And I would say this, like if you ask me to, I can make a fantastic case, not just because I'm the president of the Rob Williams fan club, but like the numbers support Rob to a huge degree. What doesn't support the fact that without Rob Williams on the court at the end of the season, the Celtics still maintained a pretty high level of defense. And some of that has to fall back on the healthy guys that were out there, including Marcus Smart. And for me, it comes down to there's plays in the course of a game that Marcus make that just cannot possibly land on a statistical stat sheet. There's no play. There was one in the late second quarter against the Nets in game 1. And I know all the ballots were already submitted and all that, but just as an example here, Kevin Durant coming down the court, blows past Jayson Tatum, got a free run to the hoop. And all of a sudden, Marcus Smart, who is covering Goran Dragic in the opposite corner, sprints across into the lane, gets to the charge circle, goes straight up and defends that play. Does not allow Kevin Durant to score. In fact, Celtics get the rebound, kick it out the other way. Jaylen Brown goes and gets a layup at the other end. That's a 4-point swing in a game that was decided by a point. And that's like one of probably 5 plays I could point to that Marcus Smart made. There was one where the Nets forgot to have somebody to take the inbound from Kyrie, and Marcus stole the ball, threw down a left-handed slam. Marcus hounding Kyrie on the final play to ensure that Kyrie doesn't have a chance at making the final dagger. That's huge too. Al Horford came over with some help defense, but they were on him. Now, sure, Kyrie hit a crazy 28-foot three-pointer in Marcus's mug. That's going to happen. Sometimes good players are going to make tough shots and give you a 3-point lead that the Celtics had to fight their way back from. But on a night-to-night basis, Marcus Smart impacts the game so much. And here's the other thing that I think is important to stress is I don't necessarily think that Marcus Smart was the most impactful defensive player in the NBA this season. So much of that falls back on the back line because of their importance in protecting the hoop. In a game where ultimate goal is to prevent people from getting to the basket, it is undeniable that the big man is important. And that's why for the last 25 years, it has gone to a big man. But Marcus Smart's ability to impact on the perimeter, especially as the game starts to become more important on the perimeter, is vital. And his ability to defend at a high level or a higher level than most others at his position is more impactful than some of the backline. Like, essentially what I'm trying to say is what Rudy Gobert gives you over maybe a all-star level or elite level center compared to like the top echelon of his class. It's the amount of gain based on Rudy Gobert's impact is not close to what Marcus Smart over a comparable level player, because Marcus's ability to defend on the perimeter is unlike most other guards in this league. His ability to switch 1 through 5, his ability to go and contest Kevin Durant, who is 8 inches taller and one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. No other point guard is doing that. And so what you gain from having Marcus Smart on your perimeter is just it's incomparable to most around the league. Now, Mikal Bridges had a great year and certainly deserved to be in that conversation as well. I totally get Bam Adebayo is just like the calls in Miami that he should have been in that conversation. 100% agree. And, I could almost make a better case for Bam than I can for Rudy and the like of that. But I don't think Marcus Smart won this award based simply on, voter fatigue or narrative. Like, the Celtics lost to Robert Williams, and everyone just sort of had to focus in on what Marcus Smart was doing more. and that helped him sort of shift everything. Now, certainly narrative helps him getting out there and promoting his cause, but you know what also helps? Having the number one defense in the league and maintaining it, being so much light years better than every other team in the NBA over the final 41 games. So this wasn't a fluke award, and it would be great if we could quantify everything on a basketball court, but we're not at that point yet. And so my fellow number nerds, I ask that you just step down a little bit and just be okay with the eye test telling us that Marcus Smart was the rightful defensive player of the year. Now, the Celtics got to already basking in the glow of a game one victory, got a chance to celebrate that moment on Monday while they were after they were watching film. They go out on the court. Gary Payton drops in, got a picture of the Marcus Smart tweet all about 1996 and the last time that a guard won defensive player of the year. And, well, they had some fun with it. Here's Ime Udoka detailing the day.
I was planning it behind the scenes. Obviously, I knew about it before the coaching staff and the players. And so, I had a decent film session in there and just wanted to show him some clips, the end-of-game situation, and he really got into it, not knowing I was just stalling in there. But and so we were talking about a few things, and I was excited to get him out there and knowing what's waiting for him. And so he was shocked and surprised, and obviously happy about it. But he said I got him good. So it's been a few now, April Fools, a few surprise birthday parties, and we said let's keep having surprises along the way.
And it's just really cool to see. Even today, Tuesday, when we're taping this, it was a chance to get over to the practice facility as the Celtics kind of ramp up for game 2 here. And you could still tell there was still an energy in that building from getting to celebrate one of their own. And ultimately, this is a little bit of a team award because it falls back, like I said, that the Celtics have the top-ranked defense, and which puts Marcus Smart in the spotlight to earn an honor like that, not just based on his individual accomplishments, but the team as a whole. And you can see all those players, knowing how much Marcus means to that group, really reveled in him getting that award. I love what Jaylen Brown said, that everyone knows Marcus Smart is a great defender. All those all NBA, all defense teams prove that. But now having that award and being the first guy since Gary Payton, 26 years, last two, Gary Payton, Michael Jordan, the only other guards in recent history to win that award. I mean, now Marcus Smart's name is etched in NBA lore for his defensive abilities. So just a really cool moment to see. I'm interested to see how much it encourages Marcus to continue his high level of play, what it means. I'm sure he's not thrilled that Kyrie Irving went out there and scored 39 points the other night, and Marcus has got to take on that challenge to take down the Nets. All right, as we start to shift gears towards game 2, I got a chance to sit down with Tracy McGrady. Again, he's starting this one-on-one league, and it sounds super intriguing. It's good. It's sort of every NBA fan's dream, right? Like, could you create your ideal one-on-one matchup? And probably going to start at the amateur level, but I'm telling you, as you'll hear me talking with Tracy about it, I think there's going to be NBA players that just want to dive in and show how good they are. I watch guys go at it in practice, and it's fascinating because you can be an elite NBA player, but it doesn't mean you thrive in one-on-one situations. Sometimes it's just like, who's the best at getting their shot off? Who's a capable defender on the other side when you're playing one-on-one? So I can't wait to see what happens with this league with that Tracy is launching. But the real stuff here that I want you to listen to is Tracy McGrady just sort of going into his relationship with Jaylen Brown and where he thinks Jaylen Brown can get to as an NBA player. Here's our chat with Tracy McGrady. All right, Tracy, the Ones Basketball League, a new one-on-one basketball. Unlock the rulers of the court. It starts April 30th down there in Houston. Let's start with just the genesis of the idea. Where did this come about? When did you start thinking about this was a possibility?
Well, I thought about it last year, wintertime. I have a AAU basketball team. Also, I have 2 sons of my own. And just the information that I get from these kids, information I get from social media as well. I always, see these pages asking who win in a game of one-on-one. I'm always thrown into that equation. The kids, everywhere I go, ask me about, participating one-on-one, who will win, me, Kobe, me, KD, LeBron. Like, I get it all the time because that's what these kids are really interested in. They don't sit and watch NBA games. They don't watch college basketball. They don't have the attention span to sit there and watch a 2.5 hour, 3 hour game. So they like short form content. And my boys always are bringing me YouTube highlights of what guys are doing on the playground. So I'm like, hold up. The energy around these blacktops are crazy because it starts out 4-on-4, and then two guys get to talking trash, and then it goes to 1-on-1, and I'm just seeing the energy around this court is like, something has to be done about this. I know that there are underground 1-on-1 leagues all around, these places, the states. I don't know if a lot of people know that there are underground 1-on-1 leagues. I wanted to give those guys a platform because, Chris, I've seen it with my own eye. I know there are some guys that are out here, untapped talent that didn't get a chance to play in the NBA, didn't get a chance to go play pro basketball overseas, but they're right here in our backyard that will beat your elite NBA players, your stars, in a game of 1-on-1. I've seen it. I know this firsthand. So that, and it's just a lot of great untapped talent that I feel needs to be on the platform and people can appreciate not only their game, but there's some great stories that will come out of that. And that's what we're all about. Want to tell these guys stories, want to create stars, and ultimately, become the UFC of basketball.
Were you a big 1-on-1 guy during your day? And like, who were the bigger challenges when you were roaming the NBA?
When I was younger, obviously, that's all I did was play 1-on-1 basketball. When I came to the NBA, when I got drafted by Toronto in '97, Doug Christie was my teammate. And Doug Christie was a premier defender in the NBA at that time. I figured if I go against Doug Christie every day in practice, 1-on-1, how improve and enhance my skills would be and get me ready for what's to come. So that's what I did. Me and Doug Christie played 1-on-1 every single day, and I could tell you it helped my game tremendously when I got the opportunity to become
Who was
the
one
man.
guy is there an ultimate 1-on-1 battle that you would have liked to go up against, somebody that you would have liked to tested you? You said it right? Like everyone says to you, would you have gone up against Kobe? Is there one you would have liked to got?
Well, there's three guys. I mean, obviously Kobe is thrown in there, but definitely KD. I would love to have played a game of 1-on-1 in KD and LeBron. Like those three guys right there, a 1-on-1 tournament would have been amazing.
Would prime Tracy McGrady take those guys down?
Listen, I'm not going to say anyone can beat me in a game of 1-on-1, but I'll tell you this: those guys right there is, I feel that elites in terms of my competition. It'll be a toss-up. Just close your eyes and pick who you think will win. We all have games.
Now we'll find out. Maybe you can get it. Like as soon as people start seeing this, I'm telling you, you're going to get like NBA guys that are going to want to jump in and try and take their hand.
I thought about that, but some guys will get in, and it'll be the guys that you really don't know much about. The elite guy. Now Kyrie will get in because that's who Kyrie is, and if Kyrie get in, Kyrie scares everybody.
Well, I mean, that's the big focus up here in Boston right now. After watching game one, how are you feeling about Celtics-Nets, and do the Nets have enough? I mean, they've got a lot of individual talent. Do they have enough to get past these Celtics?
I think they have enough. I don't know if they will. I think Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, these boys they're ready for the challenge. I think KD and Kyrie have to do so much on the offensive end just to keep them in the game. I think it'll go 7 games, but I'm picking Boston to win the series.
What do you like best about Boston?
Well, I like that they have an identity. Before, I didn't know who they were, right? And I told JB this too, because that's my little bro. I told him during the season, I say, one of you guys are going to have to be a facilitator. Like you're going to have to figure it out, because it can't be my turn, your turn on the offensive end. Like y'all have too much talent. So one of you guys are going to have to up your facilitating abilities in order for you guys to be efficient on the offensive end and really just get more guys involved. Defensively, I mean, I haven't seen a transition like that in a season in a team in quite some time after the All-Star break, or Yeah, it was after the
they're
All-Star
18
break,
and
I think.
21, and then they essentially finished 51 and 31, 51 and 20. Yeah.
They found something and they stuck with it, and it's tough when you got a tough defensive minded team like that, and then you got some guys on the offensive end that could fill it up. I love what I see out of those guys.
There was calls in the middle of the season. Oh, Jayson and Jaylen can't get along. They can't figure this thing out. What did you think? Because you've sort of lived that before, right? Like where they say it's just not going to click for two guys. Like, did you tell Jaylen to just stick with it?
No, exactly what I just told you. I told he's gonna have to up his assist and really sacrifice the scoring a little bit in order for that team to be a competitor for a championship. And I don't know who made the switch, but it's working for him.
I know you got to work with JB a few years ago. Like, what was that like, and what were you trying to instill upon him as a player?
Just get a deeper bag, get a deeper bag, being, a guy that's dynamic on the offensive end, kind of cut down his dribbling, less dribbles, be more effective, working in certain areas to where you don't have to dribble the ball 10, 15 times to get a shot. Just working in those minute areas to be able to create your shot in such a small space with less dribbles. And I've been seeing some of the creativity with him. His three ball, I talked to him about his three ball. I thought the last couple of years, the way he was shooting it, he couldn't be efficient in it. And he's made that change, so he's much more efficient with the long ball. So that opened up his game now. And I just like, when guys are open to really willing to learn and soak up that type of knowledge and want to get better. And he's that type of dude that he wants to be great, and he doesn't feel like he has all the answers.
It is crazy. I think every time we try to put a ceiling, someone will say like, "Oh, he's a top 30 player now, but he can't go higher." And then he goes up to like top 25 and gets the All-Star. He's just one of those dudes that like absorbs and listens, right? Like you said, like he's willing to take that, and that's hard for NBA players, I think.
Hard for guys, especially when you has established the name for yourself in this game. It's tough for young guys to really seek that advice, for guys outside of the game. Because, again, they think they have arrived and they know it all. JB is a guy that's willing to learn. He's open for criticism and advice that is coming from me. Anything that would help his game and help him mature as a basketball player and achieve the goals that he wants to achieve. I mean, I love the guy. I love guys that have that type of mentality.
What did it mean? So he tweeted at you when he was still, I think in high school, maybe 2014, and you responded instead something like "Stay humble and hungry." And he actually put that on his shoes at All-Star. What did that mean to you for him to harness that advice even before you sort of blossomed into that relationship?
When we talk about reaching greatness, for me, it's not what you do per se on the basketball court and the things that you accomplish. I think the greatness to me is how you inspire the next generation. And for me to inspire, a young kid in high school that was watching me while I was playing and then has reached the heights of making a name for himself in the NBA and still holding on to some of the things that I've told him in high school. I mean, to me, that's love, man, and that's greatness to me. And I'm appreciative that I was able to inspire some of these guys that came after me.
All right, my last question: What's next for Jaylen? Can he continue this ascent? Like it feels like, again, I say I don't want to put a ceiling on it because every time I do, he goes up another level. How can he take his game even further?
He's going to take his game. Both of those guys are going to take their game even further if they beat KD and Kyrie. That's a huge mountain to climb. You got to think. You're talking about champions. Boston Celtics, only champion. I don't know if they have any champions on their team. I know their main guys don't have a championship, but KD and Kyrie, to knock those guys off in a first-round playoff series when they're healthy, that to me, that'll elevate their game right there.
All right. Tracy McGrady, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
All right. I mean, ultimate level of praise from Tracy McGrady. I'm a little surprised he thinks this one's going to go 7, but hey, look, the guy's starting a one-on-one league, and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant would probably be two of the best one-on-one players in the world. But as Tracy said, do they have enough overall talent with Brooklyn to get to the finish line of a series victory against a Boston team that has shown it can play both sides of the court as well, with the defensive side in particular, and Marcus Smart leading that charge. But I do love that Tracy thinks that, Jayson and Jaylen have sort of started to figure it out, but this thing can really launch if they can get past that Kyrie and KD tandem. And you think about it, like Jayson and Jaylen have had so much success throughout their career, but they don't have titles like KD and Kyrie do. And there is something to be said. There's always this sort of stepping stone moment for elite young players where they vanquish the team that held them back or the guys that held them back, and then sort of launch forward and become the new faces, the new team to beat. Think back to even just, LeBron having to go through the Celtics and losing so many times to Pierce and Garnett and finally getting through them and then becoming the roadblock to the Eastern Conference. And maybe right now, especially with the history that Kyrie has with Boston, that's just the way it's got to be for the Celtics. And maybe as much as some people lamented this 2-7 matchup, maybe they needed to go through KD and Kyrie to gain that confidence. And if they do finish this series and get on to the next round, does that give them confidence in going up against Giannis and the Bucks, the defending champions? It's going to be fascinating to see. I think this could be a very monumental sort of series for the Celtics, something that can maybe spur this thing along even more than we've already seen. All right, I need you all to go check us out on the YouTube page, like, subscribe. We'll be back after Wednesday's game 2, breaking down all the action. Another kind of break until the weekend, but we'll get you all set for game 3, figure out where this series stands. Let's just hope it's as entertaining as game 1. We'll see what the storylines are. We'll see if how Kyrie does with another dose of lubed up Boston crowd inside TD Garden. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk Podcast.